what's up, everybody? I'm Justin Young. He is Justin Byerly. It's Justin with one hat, not two hats. Justin with hats has got to come back, Justin Byerly, by the way. We got to bring that one back. That's on me. Totally my bad. But we appreciate you joining us here on the Fast Break today. We're going to talk about the HoopSeen Tip-Off. We just finished it up over the weekend at the legendary Swanee Sports Academy. JB was there with our staff. And a lot to talk about. It's always one of the better events to kind of look at the start of the season. Who starts some narratives, who are our top performers, who are our big surprises, and I think we uncovered a lot of that. And of course, it wouldn't be the world of college basketball and college basketball recruiting if we don't have a ton of college coaching changes, what we're going to talk about here at the end of the show. I heard there's a big game tonight, JB, tonight. I don't know, out here in Arizona. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. But before we get into all that, let's start some pleasantries. How we doing, my friend?
Doing well, man. I got back late last night, but it was another really good tip-off.
Yeah, the tip-off has been fun for us. We've been doing it for about a decade now, and the whole purpose of that is to really kind of start the narrative. And we do that because recruiting, I think, is fueled by narratives, right? We see college coaches really paying close attention to Twitter to really kind of figure out who they need to go out and recruit in the springtime. Obviously, this year it's delayed a little bit, not getting until May 17th to the 19th for the first live period for Division I schools now, but for Division IIs and Division IIIs, JUCOs, and AIAs, they can get out there as well. But we'll talk about some of those narrative starters over the weekend. We've got a bunch of unsigned seniors that played. I think that all played pretty well. We're going to mention some guys. If you're a college coach using this as a cheat sheet, good on you. But we'll talk about some of those guys coming up here on the show too. So make sure you follow us on social media accounts. I'm sure you are if you're watching this live. Go ahead and hit the follow button on HoopSeen GA, HoopSeen NC, HoopSeen FL, HoopSeen AL, all the places we've got HoopSeen accounts all over throughout the Southeast. We appreciate you doing that. We're going to be in Memphis this weekend. Of course, we got the Georgia Cup this week as well. So we got a busy slate here over the next couple of weeks. All right, enough of the administration stuff. Administration? I think I just made up a word, whatever. JB, let's talk about some top performers. I think there was a lot to go through. We had a really good staff this weekend. You, Makai McKinney, Nick Nelson, Cameron Wallace. You guys saw a lot of stuff over the weekend. Right. Just the top level stuff. Who were some of the better players that you saw that were trending from the weekend at the tip-off?
Yeah, I mean, we had Georgia Stars were there, Florida Pro, a lot of teams that we're familiar with. So they have guys. Really, the two guys that stood out to me the most were obviously Caleb Wilson,
sure.
top 5 national recruit for Georgia Stars, and then Team Judah Nation has a guard, MJ Harper, who was phenomenal all weekend. Really can see he's a guy that's going to see his recruitment really pick up over the next couple months.
Yeah, talk to me about his game if we can. Let's start there with MJ Harper out of Team Judah Nation. What if no one's seen him play? Talk to me about what his game is. Where's his value lie in the games that you were able to see from him?
Yeah, so he's a guy, a typical Florida athletic guard that we, see a lot of that we like. Jumps out of the gym, always in attack mode, can make some shots from the perimeter. He's just got that little extra bit of athleticism that just against Georgia Stars. I mean, he's throwing down some one-handed dunks in traffic on some guys that, pretty high-ranked guys, and get a chance to talk to MJ after the game. And I mean, he's got some stuff going on, but I mean, I think he's a level above what the stuff he has going on is.
He looked like a guy that could play some free safety, some middle linebacker, big, strong kid that can take, that can finish through traffic in the paint as well. And you're right. We've seen one thing that if you do this long enough, programs have a DNA of the type of player that play for their travel programs, right? With Team Judah Nation, we know they're going to be tough-minded. We know they're going to be physical, and we know they're going to be able to come in and play right away because they're going to have a good foundation of skill set that allows them to be on the floor, whether it's practice or whether it's game settings at the collegiate level. And again, we've talked about this so much over the last 3 or 4 years. You and I have done this a long time, where we've seen the role of the college freshman has changed dramatically. Right. So a couple things. Are you physically able to come in there, right? Like a 21-year-old that's a transfer that college coaches would probably much rather have a guy that can go out there and compete physically. And then do you have a work ethic that's going to allow you to do the work when the lights aren't on? whether it's practice, whether it's 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 1-on-1 situations, individual sessions. Are you doing those things that's going to allow you to put yourself in a position to go out there and compete as a freshman, which is so hard to do nowadays? I think you'd be surprised on how many, or not you, but I think people be surprised on the average minutes played per game by a freshman in college basketball. It's amazing.
Right.
Not very high.
Yeah, totally. So MJ checks both those boxes off from what I saw this weekend. Physically, he's ready to come in and looks to me like he'd come in and get some minutes as a freshman.
Sure.
And then that work ethic with you can tell by the way a guy handles himself in warm-ups and the way he talks, what kind of work ethic he has. And I feel
Sure.
like he's got that.
All right, so MJ Harper. Walker. Shout out MJ Walker, man, all-time HoopSeen guy, Florida State, played in the NBA for a little bit. Love that kid at Jonesboro High. MJ Harper, there we go. I got to get that right. As a guy that you're going to want to watch, make sure you go to hoopseen.com, check out our top performers that JB and the staff did over the weekend. And also make sure you just kind of keep your eyes open here on social media. We're going to be tweeting that stuff out here throughout the course of the week. Real quick, we don't need to go crazy about Caleb Wilson. We know he's a 5-star guy. He's a top 5 guy, top 10 guy. I love his shot blocking, but I want to ask about his passing. Did you see that facet of his game at this event?
Yeah, so with him, I think he has a really good handle for his size. He can take the ball on the perimeter. He can post up outside of the paint, and it draws defenders. And he has that vision to he's got big hands. He can make a really tough pass look really easy.
Yeah, I think that's the thing now that we're seeing, like the Jokic effect. I mean, even Giannis is a great passer. Kevin Durant's a great passer. You got all these guys that are big, that can defend the rim, but man, their passing skills allows them just to be such a problem on the floor. And Caleb Wilson, every time I watch him, I'm always impressed with his passing. He was unbelievable in the state playoffs as a defender, shot blocker, rim runner. Awesome. I love the upside there of Caleb Wilson. A lot of fun. It's cool too because, in Georgia, I always say that we always have a yin and a yang. And so this year it's Bryson Tiller and Caleb Wilson that seem to kind of always pull each other even closer to the top, where in years past it was like Guy to the Wall and J.J. Hickson or Randolph Morris and Dwight Howard. I mean, I can go back just decades and find these yins and yangs, where this year it looks like it's going to be those two guys making each other better, which is a lot of fun. A player that from my vantage point, watching it out here in Phoenix and our coverage, there was a guy that kept popping up. They went 4-0, Team Swish, a team that you're really familiar with there in Western North Carolina. Caden Brewer was one of our top performers that we already put out that story this morning. What was it about Caden Brewer? Tell us more about Caden Brewer. If you're a college coach, what do you need to know about Caden Brewer?
Yeah, so Team Swish came and played in the Georgia Cup, and talking with a few of the HoopSeen guys, they were saying they're just a guard away. And then Caden came this weekend, really made a difference. I mean, they had a tough schedule and finished 4-0. Caden is a 2025 6'3" guard. He led East Henderson High School to its first playoff win ever, and they advanced to the third round. And which is very hard.
Like in school history, never won one before.
Yeah, and they've had some guys out there. Actually, they had Trent Strickland actually went to Wake Forest.
How old is the school? Sorry, I don't mean to go on a history lesson here, but they've never won a playoff game?
Never won a playoff game. I would say it's probably, it's 40-year-old school.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And they've had it, like I was saying that they've had some guys. They had Trent Strickland who went to Wake Forest, but it is what it is. It's good it's hard for a mountain team to make it to the third round.
Sure.
And they did this year behind his play. He was the District 12 Player of the Year. He can shoot it. He's a really good ball handler, really good passer. He is a 4.3 GPA kid, so higher academic programs should get involved. I know it's going to scare him off because he's from the mountains, but he can play.
Listen, man, I think if we've learned anything over the last 5 years is that where you're from doesn't really matter that much anymore. Can you play? I love the 4.3 GPA. It makes him kind of go to the top of some lists, right? When you're comparing A to B to C to D. It certainly opens up some doors. How big is he? You may have said this already.
Probably 6'3".
6'3", okay. plays above the rim kind of guy, or is he more of a just tactical?
Yeah, tactical. He's going to get to his spots. He's going to make the mid-range jumper. He's going to just be able to make some shots and break people down.
So Team Switch out of Western North Carolina. Make sure you go watch those guys this year. Go watch some film as well. 4-0 over the weekend. Good start for those guys. We had a nice number of guys or teams that went 4-0. Let me kind of run through our 17s actually that went 4-0. Florida Pro actually went 6-0. They ran the table. I'm going to put a bookmark on them. We're going to come back to Florida Pro here in a second. The Georgia Stars 1600 team also went 4-0. Really good looking team. Some good looking players also from your state of North Carolina. Team Switch 4-0. Florida Pro Select 4-0. SDA Elite 4-0, and then Limitless Basketball also went 4-0 in our 17U division. So we'll talk about some other teams here in the younger division. But let's talk a little bit about Florida Pro and that group. We know that that's going to be one of our flagship teams this year on our schedule. There was a familiar face. We're going to talk about some seniors, but I do feel like we got to talk about Jeremiah Police here. Was great for Ball for Life last year as a back again, playing here in the spring of Florida Pro. We saw him last, I guess it was probably Best of South or even Grassroots. I know last time I saw him was Best of South, where he was awesome. He was a top performer there.
Yeah.
Do we see much of an uptick from him in his senior year at Westminster Academy? Great program in Florida from where we saw him in July to where we see him now in April.
Yeah, I think he's a athletic Florida wing. He rebounds well. He can pass. I think this past season at the high school you mentioned 16 points, 14 rebounds, and like 3 assists. So he can do a little bit of everything. I thought he had a really good weekend for Florida Pro.
Yeah, he actually, it's funny, and I'm not saying like he would have played on this team that made the Final Four with NC State, but he was the type of guy that I feel like Kevin Keats has always had on his program, where maybe a little undersized, but super high motor, terrific on the glass, great teammate, knows where to plug in, knows where to be effective. And I feel like Keats and that style of basketball that they play at NC State yields really well to a player like Jeremiah Police. Right. Listen, we said it a ton over the summertime. It was a guy that you got to go out there and recruit. He had a great senior season and a great program. He's out there again in the springtime. So if you're a college coach, we're going to see those guys quite a bit. I know we've got them at Grassroots Showcase coming up in Louisville in a couple of weeks, the biggest spring stage there is in the country. I would imagine they're going to be there at Bob Gibbons, which is going to be May, the week right before the live period. Of course, the Atlanta Jam, May 17th to the 19th at HoopSeen or at Swine Sports Academy. So certainly a guy that you're going to want to get your eyeballs on that Florida Pro squad. Who else? Anybody else in that Florida Pro team that kind of jumped at you since we're talking about them right now?
Yeah, he was just the guy that I saw a lot that I liked. I think Nick was able to watch a few more of their games than I did, but he really stood out in the games that I saw.
Yeah, and we're excited too. We got Nick Nelson on board as one of our new staff members. He's going to be doing some stuff for us. You'll get to know him pretty well here in the coming weeks with all of our coverage we've got going on. Speaking of, make sure you go to hoopseen.com/events. We've got a ton of stuff going on. We're still taking some registrations for the Tennessee Jam. We're going to be in Memphis for the first time. You guys have asked for us to go to Tennessee with our Jam series. We're finally doing it. We're going up to Memphis. Garrett Tucker, Jeff Roberts, they'll be up there for us. Great coverage from the Bama Jam. They'll be up there together as well this weekend for the Tennessee Jam. We also have the Georgia Cup going on, which I think we're sold out for that already, for the Georgia Cup coming up this weekend. Again, the Grassroots Showcase up in Louisville is going to be at the end of the month. We'll have you covered there. And, of course, the month of May is just freaking jam-packed with stuff. So go over there, check that out. And, of course, the summertime, Best of South, downtown. Actually, no, not downtown Atlanta.
Yeah,
I had to catch myself. We're going to be up in Marietta right across from the Braves Stadium. So go Braves, chop on. I'll be watching those guys this year. I'm excited about that, by the way.
Yeah, that's
really
cool.
About that.
That's a good
so little secret at the Best of South. I gotta give the people a little heads up here, JB. So JB and I, we always sneak off for one night at the Best of South. In Atlanta, listen, man, there's so much good food. JB, I don't know if we're going to sneak off too much around the Battery because there's so many good restaurants around the Battery by where we're playing the Best of South this year. And Tico Pizza, I think we may just have to just walk over there just to get some lunch. Have you ever had Tico Pizza, by the way?
No, but I'm down.
To me, listen, if a fat guy tells you a tip on food, you know it's going to be good. It's my favorite pizza in the country. We're going. And so if you're a travel team, make sure you put that on your to-do list and go check that out. By the way, the Final Four was here, right, in Phoenix. It still is as they play tonight. I put out what I felt like was maybe the single greatest taco list of all time. And it got like no run. It got no run whatsoever. I was so like bummed that it didn't like catch the storm I was hoping it to do. But like, whatever. You saw it. You retweeted it.
Man, I'm all about that. Used to do a little weekly article at Hoop Bites, and
Yeah, you need to bring that back.
so guys like me and you are out on the road a lot. We know where to eat at.
Last year, I didn't mean to make this a food blog, and we saw a lot of people watch us. No one's leaving, so that's good. Iberian Pig in Decatur, Georgia, is probably the best place that we've gone to during an event. Me, you, and Garrett Tucker slipped out last year. The OGs of the HoopSeen content team was awesome. The Iberian Pig. So if you're ever in Atlanta, if you're a college coach out there recruiting, go out there. It's Spanish tapas, phenomenal spot, man, phenomenal.
Yeah, really good. I second that.
Antico, though, we'll see you. If you're a travel team, we'll see you over there for lunch, hopefully. I think Jannard over there, actually. Jannard Hartley, our director of team sales. All right, sorry. See what happens, man. I get talking food. I forget what we're here for. People are coming in. They're not leaving. Again, thanks for watching. Appreciate you joining us here on the live stream. I'm Justin Young. He's Justin Byerly. We're with the Fast Break here on HoopSeen. Let's go back to the unsigned seniors. I knew I would bring it back. I knew I would get back to where we needed to go. We got a lot of guys that we said the live period is May 17th to the 19th, but that's just for Division I schools. If you're non-Division I schools, come out there, man. We got so many good players that are playing with us. We had a number of guys from the tip-off that play with us. JB, give me a couple unsigned seniors that stood out to you, as well as Jeremiah Polius for Florida Pro.
Yeah, so Team Swish has a guy that we're familiar with. His brother played with Team Swish. He's now at Georgia Southern, but Devin Bradford, all of 7 foot. He's going to block a lot of shots. He's going to get a lot of rebounds at the rim. He's going to run the floor. He's a guy that I was talking to some other guys down at the HoopSeen event, and you can't teach this kind of stuff. You can't find 7-footers.
Sure.
And the way that they affect the game is something that you have to have. So I feel like Devin is a guy that should be able to get some traction here before this next few months, and could probably end up on a college roster.
Yeah. And we kind of saw the same trajectory for his brother, right? He ended up going to Georgia Southern, got some good minutes there. I think getting into a collegiate program with some weights and some conditioning, I think is going to be really good. But you're right, man. A lot of guys that need to get out there and take a look at Devin Bradford as a player that will, I think, give you some value for sure. Yeah. Give me any other unsigned seniors that jumped out to you? I know
those were the two that I had notes on.
Colton Wilbanks, I thought for Hoop Atlanta is a guy that we need to get some eyeballs on if you're a college coach. I know a lot of guys are looking at him. By the way, I want to mention, since we got a lot of guys watching, maybe some college guys that are, I don't know, maybe on the back nine of a golf course out here in Arizona. It's a beautiful day. We're waiting for the total solar lunar eclipse. I don't know what kind of eclipse is happening. I'm not really into all that stuff, but it's happening here in a minute. If you're a college guy watching, our Atlanta Jam for non-Division I schools is going to be free for you guys. Come out to it. We got you a packet. We're going to have a hospitality room. Circle that date, May 17th to the 19th, free for non-Division I schools. We want to take care of you. We got a lot of unsigned seniors that you're going to want to take a look at, but don't be afraid to come out to our other stuff. Grassroots Showcase in Louisville, Bob Gibbons Tournament Champions. We got a lot of good players that are playing in our stuff. So you want to come out there, take a look at that. All right, sorry, I got distracted. Colton Wilbanks, Hoop Atlanta, multi-skilled guy from North Georgia, up in Gainesville area. Really skilled. Hoop Atlanta, really well coached, really well founded. I think if you're a non-Division I school, he's a no-brainer. I think if you're a low major, you probably want to take a look at him. Tons of skill. Rebound, pass, score, shoot. I mean, does all the simple things really, really well. Really good resume. Another player that I think you're going to want to take some time and do some research on as well. All right, JB, we know that the purpose of the HoopSeen Tip-Off is to really have guys start their story, get some buzz behind their name as we kind of go into the springtime. And this, I think, stage provided that. There was a lot of guys when we write about them all week long on hoopseen.com. But give me some names, some players that stood out to you that kind of fit into the story starter category that we always like to talk about at HoopSeen.
Yeah, I was watching We Can Play Basketball Club, and
love that team. Yeah.
Noticed 6'7" forward type guy, just blocking everything, rebounding, running the floor, rim running guy. So I texted Garrett Tucker because he knows everybody in Alabama,
He
and
does.
sent him a picture. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's Gage Mayfield," and so he's a guy that, at least for me and some of the other guys at HoopSeen, had not seen, and he looks the part. He just was dominant in the games that they played. On the inside, a lot of guys were going up for shots, and he was sending them the other way. So I like his skill set and his size a lot.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I like that team too. They were great at the Bama Jam. We got a lot of content up on that program from last weekend in Hoover. And again, to me, like that's my favorite part of the spring is just watching guys stack good weekends up on top of each other as we get into the springtime for recruiting. And it's really easy if you're stacking good weekends up, it's so much easier to recruit you because you don't have to go sifting through film. You know, like, okay, well, I'll just watch this game and that guy's going to be really, really good. So I love that name. Anybody else that falls in this category for you?
Yeah, another 2027 guy that I saw was Jordan Mathewson.
Love it.
He's a two-sport star out of Martin County High School. 6'4" ish, led the team in rebounds and points scored as a freshman. Physical type guy. He's gonna slash to the rim. He's gonna get a lot of rebounds, block some shots. I think he's gonna be fun to watch over the next couple years in North Carolina.
I love it. I love it.
He was with Team Trez Chase. So Team Trez is a team that we've had come down to HoopSeen a lot over the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, for sure. There's a program too that I've seen now on back-to-back events, Phoenix City Academy, and Iverson Freeman has been killing people. First of all, if your first name is Iverson, you're probably gonna like be destined to be a bucket getter.
You better
But you better be. He was great at a Georgia Cup. I'm pretty sure they were at the Bama Jam. I may be getting my lines blurred between Bama Jam and a Georgia Cup, but he followed up again. I know Nick Nelson brought him up on his in our top performer notes as a guy that's balling out 6'3", just an absolute bucket getter. And I love guys like that are coming from just on the outskirts of Atlanta. We've seen players like that particularly in Atlanta. If you go out I-20 East, like you're going towards Augusta, that area out there, so many great guards. That's where Newton is. That's where we've seen Miller Grove over the years. A lot of terrific guards. It's kind of been I-20 because on the west side you got Pebblebrook and you got all those programs on that side of town. But out there on that side of town, you got Iverson Freeman. That might be the next guy on the east side that you're going to want to keep your eyes on. So
you've had all those guards from Augusta that have been really good.
Right, exactly. That I-20 corridor, which again, I-20 Augusta Masters this weekend. A lot going on, JB. A lot going on. Also, a lot of people watching the stream right now. We appreciate you joining on with us here on a Monday afternoon. Make sure to put those sunglasses on, or those deep, deep, deep sunglasses when you're staring up at the moon. I think it's happening right now. Like it got really starting to get dark in my house. So at least out here in Arizona. Now back east, it may be different because of the trajectory.
I think we're like an hour away here.
Are you? Okay. I feel like it's like Y2K almost, man. Like you're just like not sure what's going to happen. Again, I'm not into astrology and all that stuff, so I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but it is kind of cool. We had some really good young players at the event. I feel like Chase Smith for the Georgia Stars 1600 program was probably, I would guess, was that the top non-senior or non-rising senior kid in the event?
He was really good. He's definitely up there. He's from Washington, North Carolina. Same high school as a pretty good player Dominique Wilkins went to.
Big time.
He's a lot of some other, I was overhearing some guys and I was hearing John Morant and some stuff like that. So he's one of those explosive type guys that are gonna flashy passing, a lot of block shots off the rundown, just scores it in a variety of ways. I think Washington High School went to the second round, and I think he scored 38 and 36 points in those two games. So he's just a natural scoring guy that looks like he's going. The 2026 class in North Carolina is really good, and he's right at the top of it.
He's got that look too, man. When you just kind of see him like, oh, that guy's the guy. Like it's just kind of easy. He's just like, yep, that's him. That's the dude.
Yeah.
Dude, what court was he on that you saw him where you're like, is this John Morant? Because John Morant, blew up on that 3-court side
He was on court 1.
Court 1, man. Court 1 is the secret honey hole.
It was on court 1. He had a chase down and pinned it on the backboard, and a couple guys were like, I feel like I'm watching John Morant back whenever that was.
I do wonder, like, what court we have 7 courts at Swine Sports Academy, and I do wonder which court I've seen the biggest games and biggest
6.
performers. For you,
I mean, I'm sorry, 5.
5 is for you?
Yeah.
I think court 1 for me is like starting to really kind of rise up because I mean I'm going back in the old school days.
Yeah.
When I first started going there too. So
2019 court 5 was rocking.
That was fun. Was that the Gibbons year? No, that was court 4. We had the dunk, but that was not in 2019. That was long before that. That was like 15 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've been doing this a long time, bro. Long time.
I know.
Before I had all this gray in my face and my hair. All right, I'm just looking at your notes. You got some other good young guys that stood out to you. You want to run through some of them?
Yeah, so Kason Chase, the coach's son for Team Trez Chase, he was really good all weekend. I think the last 2 games he had 16 and 18. Skilled, plays hard. He's at J.H. Rose High School in Greenville, North Carolina, another strong program. Just another young guy that I got my eye on. I think is going to have a chance. And then Nick had a tweet out about Braylon Kraft, 2028 point guard with that 8th grade team for Georgia Stars is really good.
Okay.
And this kid, I went over and watched a little bit. He's the real deal. Really good, a skill set. Tough to tell at that age, how good they're going to be, but he's definitely tracking that way.
I love it. I think we had some really good 8th grade teams there as well. The Mighty Titans out of Florida was another program that went undefeated. Team that we're going to go through. That reminds me, I want to go through our undefeated teams before we really get to the heart of the matter. 30 minutes into our podcast. The Shockers went 4-0. They were really good for us last week in Alabama. They were really good again. 4-0 weekend. The Movement is a really nice program. Excited to see those guys. I think their whole program went undefeated. They did, yeah, because they're 1,500 teams. So 8-0 for their program, big time. PBA Gray went undefeated. Phoenix City Academy, we talked about them with Iverson Freeman. Alabama Truth, the 1,500, Alabama Truth went 4-0. Stars team, EYBL team went 4-0. And then SBA Nightmare also went 4-0. And then the Mighty Titans in the 8th grade division went undefeated as well. If there was an undefeated team in the 8th grade division I left off, apologize. I feel like I'm missing somebody on that list. All right, JB, we've talked about the eclipse here and there. What's the craziest nature phenomenon that you've ever seen in your life?
So 1993, end of March, it's about 4.5 feet snow here.
4.5 feet of snow?
Yeah, and end of March, it's getting warm out. And then one weekend, it was just we missed school for 10 days, I think.
Wow.
4.5 feet. Me and my brother were walking outside, and I guess a drift hit, and he vanished. He fell in the drift. I had to go get him out.
You guys like a Discovery Channel show.
That's the craziest thing I've been through.
It's pretty good. I'm glad you guys all survived. I saw a huge landslide when I was like really into hiking when I was in college out west in the Cascades. Like a huge landslide. It scared the crap out of me.
I'm sure.
I didn't see Bigfoot though. I was hoping Bigfoot would have been on my list, but I've never seen the guy. So the eclipse, based on all the hype, it might be happening here soon.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've missed it or not. I have no idea.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen one before, but I don't know. All right, we got a big game tonight. Purdue playing on Connecticut out here in Arizona, national championship. We got the best matchup, I think. 2 big guys, Zach Edey, Donovan Clingan. Really excited about this, man. Who you got? Who's winning it?
I got UConn, man.
Balling out.
Dan's got the culture going up there. They just play really well together. Yeah, I think they got it.
My old school personality would love to see Purdue get it, right? Just staying true, don't take any transfers, develop guys, old school 5-man. I mean, that's my kind of basketball. I'd love to see it happen, but I agree, man. I think Connecticut, they just have too many weapons. Too many weapons. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can stop one guy, and they got 3 other guys that kill you. Stephon Castle's a guy that we've known quite well. Played at the Tip-Offs, played at Bob Gibbons, a lot of stuff. Actually played Best of South too. Now that I think about it. What's funny though is here we have the national championship game. We had an unbelievable women's national championship game. And all anybody could talk about last night was John Calipari leaving Kentucky to go to Arkansas.
And
I feel like we got to at least bring it up because everybody else is talking about it.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to shocked, where were you on that scale last night?
I was a 6 to a 7. I think that the fan base up there and the university and John it's probably long enough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to take the old car in and trade it and get another one, Like it was a great run. 15 years is a long time for a lot, especially a place like Kentucky, man.
Yeah,
And
I was reading something. Nick Saban has had 163 draft picks and $2.8 billion worth of contracts. John Calipari has $4 billion in contracts.
how about that?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
so, I mean, he might not have won as much as the Kentucky fan base would have wanted, but he's got the guys to the league.
Agreed. And we're in this new era now where college basketball free agency is in full effect, and like we're just not seeing like the one and done guy like ever make it even to the tournament, let alone being a contender in the tournament. Like getting to the tournament's hard enough now.
Right.
And John Calipari zigged when everybody else zagged with like one and done guys. Like he leaned into it, he mastered it. It was phenomenal. And at the time, that wasn't super well received, right? It really wasn't. Because Krzyzewski and like Roy Williams and all these old heads, certainly wanted to do things their way. But Calipari was the antithesis of all that. And I've always liked Calipari because he always kind of leaned into who he was, never really shrunk away from it. Was always really clear. That stat that he said about Saban versus Calipari and the numbers that the pros earned where did you see that? It was just like a tweet that somebody put out.
Yeah.
I gotta find that. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Here's the other thing too. Have you ever been to Fayetteville, Arkansas? Have you ever been to University of Arkansas?
No, I've never been there. I've been to Kentucky, but never.
JB, it's incredible.
Is it?
Honest to God, it's incredible. I argue that it's one of the best basketball jobs there is in college basketball. I truly mean that. Let me break it down for you. Fayetteville is an incredible, incredible college city. There's so much money and wealth in that Northwest Arkansas with all the big corporations that are there. They dump that back into the community. They dump that back into the school. Basketball is insane. I remember when the Real Deal on the Hill used to be in Fayetteville. They would run it at the University of Arkansas. It was one of my favorite events. They're crazy about basketball. And so it's also funny to me that Rob Lanier getting let go at SMU triggered all this, right, to get to where we go. So now he leaves. He goes to Rice. Andy Enfield leaves USC, which I think a lot of people were surprised by that, to go to SMU. Muss leaves this great situation in Arkansas to go to USC, which I'd argue is not that great of a situation, and nobody really cares about it. I mean, they had LeBron and LeBron James' son, and they only had like 6,000 people a game there. Whatever. So you're going to leave Fayetteville to go there. Now you got John Calipari in the middle of the night going over to Fayetteville. I think Calipari in his final run as a college coach is going to slay it there, and I think the NIL era is going to explode because you got a lot of people. I would argue, and I don't know the data on this, but I would say, and I believe this, top 5 program in the country when it comes to NIL. Truly.
Oh yeah, I mean they were saying 5 million NIL. They got Tyson Chickens, who's Calipari's close with the heirs to that, and Walmart.
Yeah, you got JB Hunt, big trucking company. A lot of people are moving to Northwest Arkansas. I would live there, honest to God. I'd love it there. It's really nice. Yeah, I actually really like it a lot. I think it's tremendous. Now the question becomes, who's the Kentucky coach?
Yeah, I'm
Nate Oates?
That's what my gut's saying, Nate Oates, but they're saying he's not leaving.
Bruce Pearl?
I can see that too.
Bruce Pearl would kill it. Of all the people that I think Bruce would be the phenomenal Kentucky coach. He's phenomenal wherever he goes. He'd be amazing. But how many would that be? The third SEC school?
Yeah, they got Billy Donovan's name in there, and they have Pitino's name in there.
Yeah, listen, man, it's Kentucky. I mean, it's Kentucky. All those guys would be great. Scott Drew would be great.
Yeah,
all those guys would be great. Really be interested to see what happens. So, if you're watching this, leave a comment below. It's our biggest stream that we've had so far. We appreciate everybody coming through, watching. I know we were talking about tip-off, and then also we started talking about space, and also we started talking about pizza, and all of a sudden we started talking about Walmart. I don't know what the hell happened today, but we did it. It was a fun show for a Monday morning, Monday afternoon. Don't burn your retinas, people. Don't burn them. You got to have them so you come back and join us next week. We're going to talk about the Tennessee Jam with probably Garrett Tucker next Monday, as well as the Georgia Cup. Again, go to hoopseen.com/events. Go check out all of our stuff coming up on the calendar. For Justin Byerly, I'm Justin Young. We appreciate you watching the Fast Break. Enjoy space, everybody. Take care.